Hello. It was Thursday, October 27th, but now it's technically the 28th, Friday morning. Let's talk about Full Sail for a minute. I didn't make a video yesterday because I didn't feel like it. I was really tired. So let's discuss yesterday, and then I'll make another video about today. So, let's handle business. So, yesterday, microphones in theory, day number 2 for that, which is actually day number 3. So this video is day number 3 for month number 5. And it was a really good class. We talked about transducers yesterday, which is basically you have your dynamic microphones, your condenser mics, and your ribbon mics. That was the subject of yesterday's lecture. And it went really well, I thought. I took a lot of notes. Let's see, let me get on the notes. And I'm, right now, I'm just gonna say I'm on break from lab for recording consoles. So, it's about, it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning, so it's pretty early, or late, depending on how you look at it. So let's see here. I know I took some notes. So, we discussed the transducer types. And basically you have your passive mic transducers, which generate their own electricity, and usually you're going to get those in your ceramic or crystal mics, and they do not take phantom power. And then you'll have those are what the microphone pieces are made out of. And then you can have your magnetic or dynamic mics, and then also your ribbon mics. So those are all passive mics. And then active mic transducers, they require electricity. So these are the ones that need phantom power. And those are your carbon microphones and your condenser mics. We also discussed magnetic induction, like a little bit, like the formula E = BLV was like mentioned yesterday. And I also wrote that RFI means radio frequency interference, so you don't want that. Because some microphones actually pick up on the radio waves and all this, so it's like, obviously you don't want that. And it was pretty cool. We watched a video, and we went, and what we did was, like, we had, our lab instructor had a bunch of microphones set up, and he talked through them, and we got to listen to them, and we got to, compare them, like, side to side. It was pretty cool. And it really blew my mind how much how to word it. It's like how much each microphone has a different sound to it. It's pretty cool. And so we discussed like the different types of the transducers, and then we would listen to those microphones, then we would discuss like the condenser mics, and we would listen to those, and the same thing with the ribbon mics, and then we compared them all. We watched a video on Shure microphones, and it was like the guys from Shure headquarters. They took the SM58 dynamic mic, and they dropped it from the 6th floor of their building, and then they dropped it from the 7th floor of their building, and like straight to the ground on the concrete. And it worked perfectly fine. I mean, the first time there was no cosmetic damage, and it worked awesomely. The second time, the basket on the top got dented, but it still worked like a charm. And they did the same thing with the SM57, and same result. Like, even it was like one of the top parts, the cap or something, busted off, but it still sounded great. So all the Shure microphones, including their ribbon mics, are built like tanks. Those things will last. They are rugged. They're meant for the road. Like my lecture instructor was telling us, like, how he would take the tops off of the Shure microphones and like use them as hammers if he had to nail something in, like, for whatever. If he had to hit something, he would use the body of the Shure microphones as a hammer, which is ridiculous. Like, who would, I'd never heard of that before. Like, I have the SM58, and I've been treating that thing like it's, so fragile and everything, but I had no idea how rugged the Shure microphones are. And even their ribbon mics are made out of something called I can't remember what it's called, but the ribbons inside the ribbon microphones are made out of some material that goes back to its shape. So even if the thing gets busted around and everything, the ribbon just pops back into place. It's crazy. So it was pretty awesome, I've got to say, getting to learn the different types of how they work. And then the fact that there are so many different types. I mean, and then they sound so different. It's crazy. We also got our first homework assignment, which is due on Monday. It's basically a listening assignment, and we have to, in that microphone theory textbook we have to use the CD that came with it and listen to 2 tracks from it and basically compare all the microphones and describe what we hear. So for each microphone that is on the tracks, we have to write a paragraph with a minimum of 10 sentences describing what it sounds like. And that's going to come out to, like, gosh, I don't know how many. It's going to come out to a lot of paragraphs, basically, like maybe 7 to 10 paragraphs, which is 70 to 100 sentences, which is a lot, but I mean, that's what it is. This is college, it's not, we're not playing around here. We're getting stuff done. So, yeah, lecture yesterday was great. I enjoyed it. And then lab last night was really cool too. I had a blast last night. I mean, it was a lot of fun. Normally our labs are supposed to have 6 people, but 2 people didn't show up. So we only had 4 people in lab, plus the lab tech. So it was awesome. We got stuff done really fast. It was really fun. Basically, we did the same thing in lab as what we kind of did in lecture, but it was hands-on. So we went ahead and set up the 6 dynamic microphones that we have. And those would be, I know we have the Shure SM57, the SM58, Sennheiser E604. What else do we have? The Sennheiser MD421 and MD441, and also the Electro Voice RE20. So we set those 6 up, and I took the input sheet and I wrote the input sheet out, and then we went and cross-patched them into the main console. And then I went in with one of the other guys, and he's a singer in a band, so he was singing into the different microphones, and me and him, we were plugged into the Q box so we could actually hear it as well. So that was cool. Got to hear the different dynamic mics. Then we took a break for a little while, for like 45 minutes actually. And so for that 45 minutes, I just wandered around Building 1, just looking around the place. And that was nice. I'd never actually explored the building before. And then we came back and we did the same thing with all the condenser microphones, which actually there are 7 of them, but we only used 6 at first because I guess some other class was borrowing one of the other mics that we had. It was the Rode NT1A that we didn't have until the end, but we did have the AKG C1000S, the Shure SM81, the Audio-Technica AT4051, the Neumann KM184, the Audio-Technica AT2020 and AT4040, and then, like I said, towards the end we got the Rode NT1A. No, it was the AKG C414 is the one we didn't have, I do believe. But no, it was a lot of fun. Because just getting to listen to the different mics, then we actually got to use the Q function of the console to talk to the room. So it was a blast. I had a lot of fun. And then of course after that we went and striked the live room, and that was, striking stuff is way easier than hooking everything up. Tearing down something is always easier than building it up. And even switching out the microphones was way easier and way quicker, obviously. So, I don't know. The lab yesterday, and also it wasn't from 1 to 5 in the morning. We had the lab from 9 o'clock at night to 1 o'clock in the morning. And we got out around midnight or so because we met the objective. But, yeah, it was nice having only 4 people in lab, I've got to say. It was nice, you know what I mean? Month 5, day number 3 was a really good one. I had a blast. And I also had gotten really excited for today as well. Just because this is really cool stuff, you know, like I'm actually getting hands-on, it's practice, and the one thing that's different is like I'm not afraid to make mistakes. Like obviously you don't want to break anything, duh, but like, you know, making mistakes as far as like not doing something right in lab or whatever, because that's what lab is for. It's to practice, and that's why you have tests. You know, you're not getting graded like in your lab, but for lab you get graded on the practicals. So, you know, that's one thing that I think is pretty cool, because if you don't cable something right, it's like, oh, you know, don't do that because this and this, and so you should do it this way because it works, you know. So I don't know. I mean, you try not to make mistakes, but it's okay if you do. Obviously, if you're not breaking stuff or whatever, but, or, you know, and that's like a mistake of like sending phantom power to a ribbon mic, and like you can do that, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to if you don't have to. So, you know, stuff like that is no. Like things they tell you explicitly, duh, you shouldn't do. But like, if you know mislabel the input sheet, you know, then you just go back and check. But I'm drawing this out anyway. So yeah, month 5, day number 3 was really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this, and we will get talking about month 5, day number 4. So from this video to the next, I will see you in just a sec.